Welcome to Soul Symbol Discovery with Angela Delgler.
Well, hello, and welcome to this second in the series of Soul Symbol Discovery. And here we'll be looking at number 2 energies. And if you haven't already looked at the introductory video, may I suggest you have a quick glance through that, because there's a couple of points in there that you may need to refer back to. So I'll go straight into a screen share. So here we have the details of the element of number 2. This is the symbol for Beth. Beth represents the letter B, and it is about communication. Now you see here, it's a double letter. What does that mean? Double letters exist on the second tier of the tree of life, and we have 7 letters on the second tier. 3 on the top one, you might remember from the first video. And these form polarities. So with this one, it is about foolishness to wisdom. Anybody who carries this particular energy has that range to cover the energies of number 2, Beth. So the shape here, you can see it's a bit like a coiled spring. And the way that it works is it draws in the energies of other people, mixes them together, and out comes something quite different. But it also is about being able to look at things from many different angles. So the direction for this particular energy is vertical. So you can often see things from above. It gives you a bird's eye view of a situation. But it's to do with emotional resilience. Now, in order to be resilient, anybody who carries this particular energy, they need to learn about, when they learn something, they have to have a container to take the lesson in. And with this particular energy, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to the common way of thinking about things. Somebody with this energy doesn't have a natural container, so they have to make their own in their own shape, and to take in the lesson in their own way, make them a bit slow to learn something at the beginning, or it may appear that they are a bit slow, but actually they're having to convert everything to their own way of doing it. Now, this is about communication. It's very important not just to be resilient, but to be able to communicate the message clearly. So this energy is governed by the moon. That's its planet, and therefore it can appear to be quite moody. But let's look at what happens with this particular letter in the different positions. So first off, in the karmic position, what happens there? There can be a lot of misinterpretation about what's actually going on around them. Somebody with this energy might find themselves responding based on emotional energy, where they're just reacting, as opposed to basing the actions on what's objectively being learned here, what's actually going on. So the lesson is in learning what to do so that a positive outcome can be achieved, being more objective. This requires a lot of trial and error, and basically to rein in any impetuosity before the wisdom can start to iron out the stream of mistakes. And this is how we see the pathway of foolishness to wisdom. It can seem as if there are lots of mistakes to be made in the communication realm, and if only we'd bought more time and not rushed into these things, things can often play out a bit more harmoniously. So when somebody's assimilated a concept deeply, the universe often requires us to teach it. So the people who carry this energy often become teachers as they work through the lessons of the 2, because they have learned deeply. So if the 2 is present in the karmic position, there can be a lack of resiliency, And as I've mentioned, this misinterpretation of reality, they can be overly sensitive and, yes, quite rigid too. If it's in a talent position, they can be very resilient and quite good at actually bouncing back from failure and being adaptable. And they can also be very objective and seem to present a lot of wisdom to different situations and help other people in that way. In the goal position, again, they are aiming to become more resilient, more objective, wiser. And so this is when they come to the position of confidently and competently being able to counsel others in that wisdom. So think about this shape, this coiled spring, as being like suspension. It cushions the blows of life, and that's what makes it good to have in your chart. To add to the sensitivity of anybody who carries the twos can be immense, especially if they have fives in their chart as well. So they need a very gentle approach, and they need healing for the emotional trauma that's resulted from being so sensitive. Now, what this means is if you've got one member of a family who has experienced something and the other family members seem to be oblivious to it, then you need to look at the energies within their chart to see if they have this hypersensitive situation, because they can perceive the same things as other people in quite a different way. So practices such as yoga, tai chi, dance unlock the rigidity of the trauma in the body. And decent body work like massage, craniosacral therapy, for instance, can unblock the physical elements that are stored within the body itself. So it's best to start with more physically gentle therapies and gradually progress to the more powerful ones when they're ready. Otherwise, it can result in tears, basically. Exploring other belief systems to expand the perception of the mind also helps to move away from that huge sensitivity. And exploring vibrational essences like flower essences, etc., can also be very useful for these people. The issue around the right eye, it's about actually learning to see things as they really are and being objective. So you can find me at angeladelglynn.com, and you can find the soul contract entry on the services tab of my website. That's all for this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye for now.